AFG Local 1040 members. I'm Johnny Jones, the local president for AFG Local 1040. I also serve as the Council 100 Secretary Treasurer. I'm bringing you this Easter weekend message to say hello to you and your families, and I hope that Easter is a time for you to reflect upon your beliefs and your founding values around the principles of Easter. And I don't want to talk about your religion because that's for you to make the decision on how you're going to worship this very holy weekend. I do want to bring you up to date about the issues surrounding your workplace and your working environments that we are discussing. First and foremost, the 2026 cost of living adjustment. The president has proposed a pay freeze, so that would be no cost of living adjustment. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the budget reconciliation package that's being put together right now in the House and the Senate. I also would like to talk about your health insurance. I'd also like to talk about the court case that's coming. And most importantly, what the union is going to do to continue to fight, to protect, and expand the rights that we worked so hard for us to achieve in the past. So let's begin with the court case. As of right now, we have a hearing scheduled for May the 9th, and hopefully we are successful in our temporary injunction and restoring your contract, which was good for 7 years. As you're well aware, the agency on March the 7th decided they were no longer going to honor the contract and they were going to do what they were going to do. So we are taking legal action to protect those things. But we need you, the members, to be on e-dues. We need you, the members, to take action when necessary. We need you, the members, to participate, because it's not just a few of us in the union that can do all the hard work. We will definitely have a special meeting held with all the members as soon as we get a decision on the court case. Now, I do want to bring you up this budget reconciliation bill. In the past, during the first administration of Trump, he did propose a pay freeze for 3 of his 4 years as president. The House and the Senate overrid the executive order and his pay freeze by putting a small pay increase in there. And that was on our Republican and Democratic friends in Congress. Those percentages that we received was about 5.2% overall over the 3 pay freeze proposals. Now, when you look at that in its entirety, that is more than your union dues for the entire career. Those percentages that we fought and made sure that were in there paid for itself. Let's talk about your contract. Things that the union has won over the years that is worth more than your union dues. Your paid parking, obviously pay equity that we were able to achieve with the assistance and with Congress, and with also being able to work with a very friendly administration in regards to making sure that we're able to achieve these things. Secretary Mayorkas and former Administrator Prokosky were very friendly. And of course, you haven't seen any S1 days come in under this new administration. I would not expect that. And for you that don't know what S1 days are, if you just started, those were extra days off granted by the Secretary of Homeland Security. In this budget reconciliation package, your health insurance, your federal health insurance is on the chopping block. What they would like to do is move us off of what we have, which is the through OPM and the Federal Health Employee Benefit Program, and potentially slide us over into the healthcare exchange where you'd receive a voucher to help pay for your health insurance. I don't see that being very well for us, as what you have would not be nearly as good as you have in the exchanges, and it would definitely cost your families more money. And additional changes to your FERS would increase the amount of money that comes out of your paycheck in which you have to pay for FERS, and also your top 5 years instead of top 3. for your retirement and other potential retirement changes as they come along. There's been proposals to actually terminate the federal retirement system as it's set up. So for new employees, we just need to stay on top of these things and make sure that the members are informed and that you, the members, are signed up on e-dues. Because without e-dues, we don't have members, and without members, we don't have a good voice, and you won't be represented. I am your local president. You have elected me to lead you, but I need you to sign up for e-dues so that way I can make sure that we have the tools and resources to protect you. And also, I'm going to need your help in engaging when it's time to send out these letters to Congress and to our friends and allies. I know most of you don't realize this, but we filed the lawsuit. The people that are helping us pay for it are not just us, but the flight attendants, the pilots, other workers of the CWA. They have all chipped into AFL-CIO. People you don't know, but they care about you because they know if the federal government can cancel a contract, then who's next? Maybe General Motors, maybe Ford, maybe Boeing, General Dynamics. Anybody you know in your family that works for a union, AT&T, just say, you know what? If the federal government can cancel a contract and get rid of it for millions of people, why can't we? So this is a fundamental right that's being attacked that we earned well before anybody on this video was alive. Back in the early 1900s, the evolution of unions over the years, they were the founding principles of a lot of things that you've came to enjoy, like paid holidays, overtime, the 40-hour work week, paid parental leave, in which the union, you can thank the union for making sure that that was in there because it was written to make sure that uniformed officers, TSOs, are covered no matter what. Now, if a new administrator comes in and says non-TSOs don't have paid parental leave, we can't help that because that's not how the law was written. And if anybody would like to challenge me on that, by all means, just look it up because I was there to make sure that when this happened, so I can pretty much recite it. When we do get the finalization of the court case, we'll definitely make sure you understand that in a special meeting, and we'll also work to explain what happens. And of course, if the agency is actually going to follow whatever a judge says, I don't know. But I do want to talk about some of the other programs that's going on. If you have not seen the HCAM, you should definitely read it and take a look at some of the changes between the contract and the HCAM because they are pretty drastic. Now, to the things that are going to happen in the next budget year, we don't know what's going to happen in the next budget year until we actually see the budget. But we do know what's happening under the budget reconciliation, which is a process that can only happen once a year, and it can be done by simple majority, which means that they can pass it straight on party lines. Okay, so it doesn't matter how many Democrats vote no or how many Republicans vote yes. Once they have a simple majority, the bill will be passed, and then obviously it goes to the president for a signature. The fight for Title V continues. And actually, we've gained a lot of support in the House and the Senate from Republicans and Democrats, in which they would like to preserve what we have in law, including your pay and other things. Unfortunately, even if we did get it passed, it would not probably stand up to a presidential veto. So that's one of our sticking points is that, unfortunately, the White House is very anti-union. They have terminated the rights of over 1 million federal employees that have the option to collectively bargain. And they've also terminated the due deduction of over 1 million federal employees. So it is very difficult for unions to operate. And of course they know that because when we take them to court, the union members are paying for the attorneys and representation. But when they go to court, the federal government is paying, the taxpayer is paying. So we are fighting on all fronts and we are winning. But it's most importantly, we need you to convert from payroll deduction, which has been terminated, to the e-dues process. I can only ask you so many times. I know that some folks be like, well, what can the union do? Well, let's talk about it. When you get written up, we can still file your response. They may not let us in the room because they've terminated and suspended your rights until we have a court hearing for your Weingarten rights have been suspended. Let's talk about what we can do if you get hurt on the job. We can still assist you and make sure that you get taken care of and fixed. I've helped out several people already. I know that just may not be reassuring. But if you have workman's comp and all of a sudden it's denied, you're going to be like, oh, I wish I was a union member, because those are some of the most complex things that you can do. And if you're discriminated against, the union can still represent you and help you. We also have all of our great discounts and other things to help you, like if you want to buy a house or if you wanted to buy a car, which a lot of people are. You can use our buying program to save you a lot of money. In fact, a lot of times it's just as cheap as if some of the auto workers, because they're trying to unload the inventories. But I'm not trying to continue to talk too much about all these things, but you should know that in order for us to be a successful union, we can only be as successful as the amount of dues paying members that we had. Prior to the March 7th executive order, we had 950 members in our local. Right now, we have under 200. Okay. That is a significant loss in your membership. That is almost the amount of people that voted in our local elections. So I'm just imploring you to please sign up to eDues and understand that the fight is real. And if we don't have the members to support us, it's going to be very difficult for us to fight and continue to operate the way we always had in the past. But now that the e-board and a lot of us are going through training, we're almost completed coming back to our return to duties, we will be in a better position to have meetings, briefings, and other things that will have to be done off site until things are resolved. But let's just remember what we're fighting for. We're fighting for better protections under the law, the continued pay progressions that we're fighting for, and also to make sure that you don't get wrongfully terminated. There's so many things. Just remember, in 2002, we didn't have a right to collective bargain, but we had a union. In 2005, we didn't have the exclusive representative, but we had a union. Your union is still here. We are all still here. It's just a little different right now, but the union is alive and well. TSA cannot tell you if you have a union or not. You decide if you have a union or not. It's the most important time, and I'm sorry this message is long, but there's no doubt in my mind that the people at TSA, DFW, Dallas Love Field, spokes all over the country don't want their union to disappear, because they know what we have done and what we can achieve together. But we can't achieve it if people aren't willing to sign up for eDues and be active, because we need every single person. And I want you to know, once you sign up on eDues, nobody knows you're a member. You're right. Your privacy is protected. And if you need assistance, sign up for eDues. Just reach out to us. We'll make sure it's done, and it's all private. Nobody has your information. It's just a union. So with that being said, have a great Easter weekend with your family. I am so happy to be your local president and also serve you on your council. We are going to continue this fight. Nothing will stop us. We started with nothing, and we rose up to one of the strongest unions in the federation. And we will get back there again. Not because of Johnny, but because of you. Not because of other people, because of you. If you fight, we stand together, we win. And on the closing things, I want you to think about what's going on. We have the Look Sharp, Be Sharp campaign at the agency. Please take a look at yourself and make sure that you look well. One bag at a time, one passenger at a time. Stay focused on your job. It is so important at this point in time, because we have enemies, not just terrorists, but we also have people that want to privatize us. They want to take your jobs away. Let's not give them the ammunition they need so they can have these talking points. But that's all I'm going to say for tonight. And I want to say thank you for listening to this message. I'm Johnny Jones, your Council 100 Secretary Treasurer, and also your local president, signing out in Jaguar Studios in Fort Worth, Texas. And you guys have yourself a great Easter weekend, and we'll see you next week on our upcoming videos. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.